Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, in the very, very short time that I've been here on YouTube, I do consider myself very, very fortunate that people have always had their doors open and that for me, as in the boxing world. And my phone is filled with direct access to plenty of fighters, managers, promoters, this, that, and the other. And of course, we are starting at like prospects. We're talking amateurs, right the way up to everybody here, or most people here in the Northeast and that as well, all the way through to big names like a Dillian Whyte, like a Barry Hearn, a Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn, that of course has been on this channel several times, and plenty more. Again, if you are new to the channel and if you haven't seen my interviews, go check out the playlist called My Interviews. You can find them all there. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because there's very few people in boxing that I haven't interviewed, because interviewing was not something that I ever really wanted to do. It was always about boxing news. And the reason why I started to do some boxing interviews is because of Dillian Whyte. Yes, Dillian, I'm blaming you, man. My very first interview was with Dillian Whyte, and things just kind of kicked off from there. Doors started opening from that moment on. But boxing news is always what it is that I do. But an interview is something that I'll throw in once in a while. Why am I saying all this? Because there's very few people in boxing that I haven't interviewed that I would look at and go, I really want to interview you. John Fury being one of those. I've never interviewed John Fury, and I would love to interview John Fury. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Probably not. The management team of the Furies just don't seem to want me anywhere near them for whatever reason it is. I don't know why. I've never said anything or done anything bad, but hey, it is what it is. But if anybody out there knows John Fury, please put him in contact with me, will you? For the love of God, please do so. Now, John Fury, he says so many things that I've been saying for the past couple of years. Things that I say about Dillian Whyte, about Anthony Joshua, about his lad Tyson, about Wilder, and the list goes on. We say exactly the same things for the most part. Don't get me wrong, once in a while he'll come out with a bit of a nugget that I disagree with, and if he was to ever watch my channel, I don't know whether or not he ever has, but if he did, there'll be some things that will make him go, come on young man, what is that you're doing? Do you even know boxing? Why have you got a YouTube channel? Okay, so once in a while, okay, we are going to disagree on some things, but for the most part, we say the same things. But of course, I get criticised for it. Hey, listen, I'm just sporting icons. What do I know? He's the father of the Gypsy King, the WBC Lineal Ring Magazine heavyweight champion of the world. And of course, the only heavyweight currently to have held every single belt that the heavyweight division has to offer. In fact, when I think about all the history of heavyweights, isn't it only Riddick Bowe that's actually held all of the top level belts? Not necessarily at the same time, but of course I'm including like the WBO in that, which Lennox Lewis and that didn't hold. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. But today's interview with John Fury and IFL TV, very good interview, go check it out, and link in the description box as always. And by the way, John, you don't do too many interviews, okay? Keep them coming up. Most notably with me, right? But so many things were spoken about in that interview. One of them, of course, is Dillian Whyte. Of course, John Fury says that he felt bad for Dillian, the fact that he was handling Povetkin. And let's be honest, handling Povetkin better than anybody has ever handled Povetkin before. Nobody else has done that to Povetkin before. Nobody else has. Joshua couldn't do it. Klitschko kind of was, but he was kind of leaning all over him and throwing him around. But Dillian Whyte had done excellent. Considering that he's only had 36 fights, amateur and pro, come on now. What this lad has done is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, he was handling Povetkin with ease. And he was moments away from knocking out Povetkin. But, as heavyweight boxing would have it, one punch gets through. Good night, Vienna. Okay? And hopefully he gets him back in the rematch, and I believe that he will. Again, John Fury said that he believes that Dillian Whyte will beat Povetkin in the rematch. He will be fully back in the mix, and he will be world heavyweight champion one day. Now, John Fury goes a step further in that as well, when he looks around and he sees a potential fight with his lad Tyson and Dillian Whyte. He's saying, of course, listen, you could put anybody in front of Tyson Fury, John Fury's going to say Tyson's going to win. And I honestly believe he believes that too, and that's fantastic. But again, he's very, very proud of his son and, well, all of his kids, as we all are. I'm proud and I love my kids, and I'm sure you guys doing that as well. So, of course, he's always going to be that way anyway. But he sees Dillian Whyte as a potential opponent for Tyson Fury, who could potentially give Tyson Fury problems. But of course, when we look at the fact that, say, and again, as John Fury quite plainly pointed out, just because Povetkin managed to beat Dillian Whyte, that doesn't mean that Dillian Whyte is washed up. That doesn't mean Dillian Whyte is no good. That doesn't mean that Tyson Fury couldn't handle Povetkin with one hand behind his back and have a whole world of trouble with Dillian Whyte. See, that's just how it works, okay? It's boxing. Styles make fights, right? It's a crap saying, but it's a true saying. I hate that saying. But that's John Fury's point. Dillian Whyte, just because he took a loss, doesn't mean it's over. And I've been saying this for quite some time. In fact, I've been saying this for the longest time about Dillian Whyte. I know many people write him off. And at some point, he's going to hit a bump in the road. All heavyweights will hit a bump in the road. And yes, I would include Tyson Fury in this. But so far, Tyson Fury has done everything that's asked of him. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet, has he? He's had a couple of near misses, but he hasn't put a foot wrong. And who knows, maybe he will go on, dominate the heavyweight division and retire undefeated. If anybody's going to do that, it's probably going to be Tyson, right? But Dillian Whyte becoming world champion, absolutely. I'm fully confident in that Dillian Whyte will become world heavyweight champion at some point. Would it be against Tyson Fury? Would it be against Anthony Joshua? Would it be for a vacant belt? Would it be because he's regained the interim and the belt becomes vacant? Whatever it may be, Dillian Whyte will become world heavyweight champion at some point. And at some point, in my opinion, will be soon. Because even when you put Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in the ring, even if it's right now for Undisputed, again, John Fury says the same thing that I said, why not just pay Wilder and Paul some step-aside money, let them two get in the ring, and the winner fights the winner of Fury Joshua for all the belts? Why not just do that? What's it that I've been saying, right? Anyway, now, when it comes down to it, Dillian Whyte is as dangerous opponent for anybody that there could possibly be. Despite his limited experience in boxing, as I said, 36 fights, amateur and pro, 36. That is nothing, absolutely nothing. And look who it is that he's been in the ring with. People want to criticise. What? Criticise what? A guy who's only had 36 fights who gets stopped by Povetkin with one punch after dominating an Olympic gold medalist. A former world heavyweight champion. Look at Dillian Whyte's resume as well. Beat a Joseph Parker. Beat Derek Chisora twice. Oscar Rivas, undefeated, again, another former Olympian, outboxed him. Like Dillian Whyte, don't like Dillian Whyte. Deserves a lot of credit. But I can agree with John Fury that, yes, Dillian Whyte will become world heavyweight champion. And again, people who want to write off Dillian Whyte, well, just because he lost. Even if he was to lose the rematch with Povetkin, which I don't think is going to happen. I think that he's going to mow over Povetkin in the next one. But even if Povetkin pulls out this another punch, it's not over for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte will never be somebody's journeyman. He will never be somebody's stepping stone. Dillian Whyte has that never say die attitude. And he will keep on coming back and coming back and coming back until he gets what he wants. And what he wants is to become world heavyweight champion. You may call me a fanboy if you like, but I'm only saying the same things that John Fury has done also. All right? Anyway, big up John Fury. Big up Dillian Whyte. Catch you all on the next video. Subscribe.